Welcome to the Sabrina Marie Show. Guys, I'm excited today. Want to know why I'm excited? We're here at the studio and we're here with some beautiful women, some successful women, some women who has been doing entrepreneurship for a very long time, and I have some questions for them. I've talked to several different entrepreneurs and they always asking me different types of questions. So I pulled up some friends who has been successful in their business so we can discuss today. Well, today I have Coach Nikki. Coach Nikki is here. She is a certified life coach, a business coach, and she's the CEO of CWN Brand. Yeah. Next, we have Cara Pressley. Cara Pressley. I like that, okay. Cara Pressley. Cara Pressley is a business consultant, event host, a moderator, and
successful.
She's successful, okay? And next we have Janna Joyne. She is a marketing and communication executive and the owner of Leap Innovative Group. Welcome, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank y'all so much for coming to sit down and have this discussion with me. There's a little discussion that we have on the sidelines, and so we're going to bring it to the forefront.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. So, tell me, how was it getting here today? Did you have a good time?
It was successful to get here. It was always great to see the ladies as soon as I popped in, so I knew it was going to be good vibes and good energy. Yeah.
And how are you feeling, Janna?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling proud of you.
Yes.
Because I remember when we first recorded, we were at your home, and now to see you have this big, beautiful studio with all the different rooms, it's just, it's amazing to see the growth. I love it. I'm proud. I'm so proud.
I appreciate that. And Janna was my second guest on my show. She believed in the Sabrina Marie Show. She believed in the Entrepreneurship Show. And that is the foundation of the Sabrina Marie Show, is to bring entrepreneurs to the forefront and give them a platform so they'll be able to show their talents and their work. Coach Nikki, how are you feeling?
I feel good.
You feel real good?
Yes,
You look
absolutely.
good today.
You know, as do you, friend. Yes, thank you. I'm so grateful to be here. I don't take it lightly when people invite you because there are a million entrepreneurs that you could have invited. And so to be one that you chose, I'm excited.
Well, you know, that energy that you had just drew me to you, so I knew I had to get you. I
love it.
Well, I have been talking to some entrepreneurs, and they had some questions.
Yeah.
And so we're going to go ahead and dive on in and start to talk about some of the things that they have been asking about. And one of the questions is, how do you feel about an entrepreneur being able to share their information along with other people for free? After you done did your research and you done did all the groundwork, how do you feel about that? You want to start with you, Cara?
I could start. I don't mind actually sharing my knowledge with others because the reality is if I can inspire you to go forth and put in these 24-hour days, then congratulations. Let's get started because it's not for the faint of heart. It's not just something you can pick up and easily turn into something else. I'm still evolving myself, so I hope to inspire as many people as I can. I'm fine with sharing the information.
So it's like now you're worried about it.
I'm not. I do understand why some people are concerned or don't want to share it because it's their baby, it's their idea. They want to hold on to it and make sure they can execute it successfully. But when you really get into it, baby, you can have it. If you feel inspired to do this work too, then you should do it, though. Isn't that what we're here for, to inspire others? So, yeah, I'm fine with it.
Absolutely. And how do you feel about that, Janna?
I think it's a balance. I don't mind sharing information, and, I'll help somebody. Hey, let's hop on a call, ask me the questions. But I do think that there has to be a balance, because people do need to value the expertise. And we spend years perfecting our craft and learning and getting as much information as we can so that we can be our best professional selves. And so, we have value. And so I don't always want to just give for free. I need to also fill my cup. And that comes in that comes in the form of payment.
That's
so,
absolutely.
I think people do, when you're just sharing advice, people, tend to, well, why am I paying for that? It's just a conversation.
Right.
But a lot of people don't realize that, I have studied this for a long time to be able to give you this, information. So I'm always open to pouring into others, especially younger entrepreneurs, but there has to come a time where, I'm getting compensated too, because I can't pour from an empty cup.
And I understand that, because, I had an experience, and there was someone who was an expert in their field, and I just wanted to ask them a quick question on something. They was like, sure, you can ask me. Hey, I'm going to send you this link, and you get a 15-minute conversation for this price. And I was like, oh, okay. But I did value what they had to say, and I did pay for it. And it even taught me something, because I've been in a space where I'm like, okay, let me just give out this information. It's nothing. And then you do the same things, or you provide the same, type of job, and then they end up using someone else. And you're like, I just sit there and wasted my time. So, it is kind of a little balance with that. How do you feel about that?
I think for me, it's kind of a mixture of both, right? So I understand that, so my stuff is spiritual, right? So I understand that there is a set of sheep that are going to hear from me, right? So if all four of us do the same exact thing, everybody's not going to receive from y'all the same way, right? So I don't mind offering in free spaces. I also do understand, though, a consultation fee, even if it's waived later, but that you understand there's an amount attached to what I would usually charge for this. And I'm offering it to you for free. So I'm big about allowing you to know that I did give it to you for free, but this is what the charge would have been. So let's still send the invoice. Even if we balance it out later. Again, sometimes people just don't know, right? Like, you didn't know about that 15-minute conversation it was going to cost. So people just didn't know, but I want to give it, right? Because it was some of my stuff that I've learned over this time was given to me. So I also want to be able to pay it forward as well. So I think it's a mixture.
If I can just say one thing, my mom would always tell me, she's a primary care physician, and she would be like, you can't just come into the doctor's office and say, can I pick your brain? No, it's a copay. And you have to schedule time, and you pay a copay, and so it's kind of that same thing. It's like, I can help you as much as, I can, and as much as I'm willing to give, but at a certain point, it's
that part.
If
I could piggyback too, I feel like as well, like I'm more so leaning towards the education space, and I'm a public speaker, right? So it's also the willingness to want to learn. So if someone's willing, really hungry for it, and really willing to learn, then there's a difference between someone who's continually asking you the same question every time they see you, and not really taking any action, not really moving forward. So there is a difference.
Setting a boundary of what that time looks like. So if I do it this one time, know that next week when you come, this is the fee. You know what I mean? Again, it's just about, and along the way, you're going to learn those boundaries, because these aren't boundaries. Some people, you're just coming right off the bat with it. And I think one of the things that entrepreneurship allow us to do is the flexibility to just choose and know that some people are just out to get the information to go hoard and go do, and try to come back and steal. Then you're going to feel that space of like, are these people truly here to learn and want to know this information? Then there's just people that's like, oh, I thought about this in real life. Oh, no, this ain't for me. It's going to require me to work. I don't want that. You know what I mean? So I think it's all of the facets. So entrepreneurship, again, this is just one question, though, that actually gets us to see that entrepreneurship is a complete journey.
It's definitely a journey. And through your journey, what has been the most biggest learning experience that you have had?
The biggest learning experience, I would say, is there's a moon bounce when you jump.
Moon bounce.
Yeah. So for me, y'all have been kids. Y'all have kids. They get in that moon bounce and they jump and they do this thing and it comes back. Right, so you never really fail, right? And I think for me, my biggest thing is that when I took the leap to jump into entrepreneurship full time, I left the thing that was normal, right? Getting a paycheck twice a month, insurance coming out, it was known. I jumped without really knowing. When I jumped, I did, even though it felt like times and moments where I hit that thing, I always came back. Right, so the faith of this jump is that there's a moon bounce on the other side. And I think my biggest experience is to continue to jump in different spaces and places and just know that there's a bounce back coming. It's just not the way you think it's going to be.
Oh, amazing. And you?
For my biggest learning experience was really going through just the journey itself and allowing myself to unlearn what was known already and relearn in my current way. And the biggest thing that stands out is when I left my job, I retired from 20 plus years of government service. I had to sit with myself and say, what is success? Because it was all these measures and everything that they had said in the government I had to reach, and quarterly goals and all these things. And I had to just redefine what success was for me personally and professionally, unlearn it, and even really go to the core of what's the last time I said what success was, and it was school. It's an A. And if you've been living life long enough, you know as an adult, it ain't no just get an A. 2 + 2 is not just always 4. It's not just yes or no as an answer. Sometimes it's working through things. Success looks different. So being able to allow myself to redefine success in all areas and unlearn what I knew and reestablish what I know now.
And you, Miss Janna?
I can say almost similar. I think entrepreneurship has really forced me to trust myself. I think, as we're going through this journey, and it takes so many twists and turns, just the nature of the business, especially when you have a client-facing business, income can change, the people you work with change, and you're like, oh, do I even like this anymore? What do I want my business to look like? And when you're an entrepreneur, you are creating that path yourself. And you have to learn to trust yourself, trust your why. Like, why did I get into this in the first place? It can be so easy to look at what other people are doing and get off track. And whenever you feel uncertain, you're like, oh, well, let me just see what she's doing. Maybe that'll give me some direction. But it's like, no, you have to know what you want, why you're doing what you're doing, and be able to kind of keep yourself on track according to your own dreams and your own vision. Because you can be following someone else's path because it looks safer or it looks like a surer bet. But it's like, no, I need to trust myself and trust what I want to do and make whatever change I want to make. Even if no one else is doing it, I need to trust myself to be able to stay on this path, my path.
Right.
So
It's funny because I realized that I had to stop looking at people who were doing what I was doing. Because it would hinder me. I use this example all the time. So if you've ever followed me, you would hear me say this. I love Sarah Jakes. Absolutely love her. When she delivers, it is crazy.
She's powerful.
Oh my God. And so, not completely comparing, but some of the things that she says, I've said in spaces, right? And so I go to look at her and like, I don't need to say nothing else because she already said it enough. All these people already see her. The reality is there are people still waiting to hear me, but I see me so little or minimal because I see her, right? So I have to like stop watching people in their lane.
Unfollow.
I do. It's very much. Even though you want to she dropping jewels, but the reality is, I'm gonna say that same jewel.
Right.
I can't miss my opportunity to serve those that need to hear from me because I fear what they see not valued in comparison to.
See, now Coach Nikki is going straight into what I was going to when I wanted to talk about fear. I wanted to talk about how do you talk to a young entrepreneur who wants to step out and go into entrepreneurship full time, but they have a 9-to-5 job and they depend on that 9-to-5 job to take care of their life, especially young, someone young who has, car notes and rent and things of that. Just basic life. Basic life and one income, not multiple streams of income. What do you tell a young entrepreneur who says, listen, Cara, I want to step out and I want to do my cosmetology business full time.
Yeah, and I tell them I have an ebook for that. I literally in my first year, because I had taken the leap of faith, right? And I was like, so now what? So in that first year of entrepreneurship, I actually wrote an ebook, which is called Before You Quit, Think About This. And in that book, I literally outlined the fact that it took me 4 years to leave my job of 20 years. So we're talking about year 16. I woke up one day like, I don't know if this is it. And it took me 4 years to really back out of that security of insurance the security of that paycheck, the security of borrowing against a 401k if I need it. Because am I quitting because I just want a little financial success, or is it really something bigger? It was something bigger, but I had to really ask myself. I have a whole list of 65 questions in the ebook of things I asked myself. What do I want my day to look like? What do I want my day to feel like? Do I want it to be full of meetings? Initially, when I decided to leave, I thought I would be traveling the last week of every month. I was like, I want to travel the last week of every month. I also did not want to get up at 4 a.m. to get on a plane every month. I also didn't want to pay for a flight every month. So it's like, okay, maybe quarterly. Maybe. But you have to step in it to even see what does that feel like. Yeah. Is it financially responsible to even do that? Yeah. Am I sustaining clients? But initially, just the initial thoughts, it's a lot of thought that needs to go into it. And I don't want anyone to minimize the true thought process. Do you even have family support? Because as much as you feel like it's going to be you and this is my dream, your family is truly supporting you. Right. They whether they are financially supporting you or just listening to you at 2 a.m. say, I don't know what's next. Right. You know, so it's going to be, you have to have a system there. But there's plenty of think about. That's what I would tell them.
Well, I know, Janna, you told me that you recently came out of entrepreneurship a little to go back into corporate America.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about why did you make that decision?
Well, I had been a full-time entrepreneur for 7 years, and you know, the way my life looked when I first started, you know, I had the whole quit my job, travel, backpack across Europe, and then I'm gonna come home and start my business and, you know, live at home with my parents. I didn't have a whole lot of bills. You know, I was 26 and now I'm like, I'm married, I got a home, got a car note, you know, life just looks different. And I felt like, you know, full-time entrepreneurship and being at the mercy of clients and having the income ebb and flow, to me, I wasn't able to operate in my zone of genius because I was so focused on getting bills paid. I mean, you eat what you kill. And so it's like, I can't even enjoy being a newlywed because I'm like, okay, how can I get more clients? Like, I got to pay, I got payroll, I got this, I got that.
Because Dominion don't care about your dreams.
Dominion don't care. They don't care. Following your dreams. Right. And so I'm like, you know, I'm not even enjoying doing what I love. I can't even be a creative marketer, a creative communicator because I'm so worried about, okay, we got payroll, all right, what clients are in the pipeline. And so I'm like, okay, if I can find a stable income doing what I love, then I can have the peace of mind to enjoy my life, and then I can still, you know, do my business on the side. But what's the purpose of having a business, running my business full time if I'm miserable and I can't enjoy the thing?
And I feel like it's vice versa. You know, some people feel like that in corporate, some people feel like that in entrepreneurship because it is very difficult to be an entrepreneur. Yeah. Some people just love the aspect of, oh, my schedule is more flexible, but your schedule is really not flexible because people don't see when you're up 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning creating. You know, while everyone is asleep, you know, you're up creating. And then the next morning, you know, about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, you're like, I'm so exhausted. I'm ready for a nap.
You didn't sleep.
And the world don't understand that. They think you're lazy and not doing your job. You're like, you don't even understand. I've been up all night.
Or we have to be mindful of the schedule that we think is free. Right. So I feel like even as you transition, those who are deciding to go into entrepreneurship is like, oh, I got all of this time. Baby, the way you just slept through the meeting you were supposed to go to because you done got so relaxed. I mean, it's a twofold because, again, like back to what Cara said, you're relearning what this life is supposed to look like. And although I'm saying, oh, I get to wake up at 10, the reality is, baby, you probably needed to wake up at 8 because there was something you could have been doing in those spaces. Some of the corporate world you still need to put in your pocket. Some of that structure you need to put in your pocket, it helps. It doesn't hinder.
Like people who leave corporate to go into entrepreneurship, I find that they are the most successful to me because of the structure.
Maybe if they keep it.
Some
people want to be freed from, I'll be honest, when I left my job, I wanted to be freed. I was a parent. My son had just turned, he was 19 when I really was taking the leap. And I wanted to be freed. no sports,
Yeah.
no school, no teachers calling, no job, no payroll sheet due on this day. I wanted to be freed from that. So I wanted to redefine my life, but moving intentionally throughout your day is a big part of it. So if you know you have a 10 o'clock meeting, yes, a later meeting, you might need to get up and pray and meditate and prepare or post on social media or what have you, but you have to establish that for yourself. So some parts you do need to keep from corporate, and some parts you can let go of.
Yeah,
but you also need to respect.
Great.
You also need to respect who your client is, because a lot of them will work. So you can't act like that's not my life anymore, girl. What's your client's life? And they get off.
And your client is probably working 9 to 5, and so you are going to be available 9 to 5.
Yeah,
Right.
boss bullies are a problem. So people who down corporate culture or any type of 9 to 5, because I don't do that anymore. But your client may.
Yeah.
Who are you to minimize their lifestyle if it still works for them?
Yeah.
So.
And I think this conversation about quitting your job, I think I wouldn't even want to have that kind of conversation, or I wouldn't recommend that to someone who is just starting out with their business. I think some of the most successful entrepreneurs that I know are either still working a 9 to 5, and their 9 to 5 is funding their dream, or they're working part-time, or they have gotten to a place where their side business is meeting, if not exceeding, what their full-time job was. And so I don't think that, everyone should just be, oh, I'm going to quit and I'm going to make it happen on my own. It's like,
I don't think
wait until your business is actually, sustainable for you to be able to leave your job.
I feel two ways about that, Janna. And let me tell you why. I feel like you can do that, and that's kind of playing it safe. But if you're not that type of person, you want to kind of jump out there, I say prepare. I say to look at, just like when you're looking in our regular life, when it comes to saving and buying homes and different things, they tell you when you're buying a home, they want you to have 6 months of what the mortgage is going to be like. I feel like it's the same thing in entrepreneurship, that you should go ahead and prepare. Make sure you have enough living expenses to carry you, because you don't know how long before you will receive income. Some people can't wait 3 years. This alone, it took 3 years before I saw an actual check from YouTube.
Right.
A lot of people is not doing that.
Right.
Yeah.
But because I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm a true entrepreneur, and I'm a true lover of entrepreneurs and the things that they want to do, it comes a little bit easier to me, and it's something that I want to do. But a lot of people can't do this as a job.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
So that's the difference. And being a little bit more mature, of course, I have other streams of income to be able to take care of me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like, hey, if you want to go ahead and step out there and go full-time into entrepreneurship, you definitely should prepare for it. And that would be the advice that I would give. Like, I'm not going to deter you not to do it.
Right.
And I'm not going to tell you to go ahead and just jump and do it.
Right.
I'm going to tell you to prepare for it, because it's going to be some roads that's like
And be
this.
realistic about the reality of how businesses grow and how long it can take. You said 3 years. Like, are you willing to play the long game?
Right.
Well, not just even the reality, but your capacity. Because, like, I know for me, like, I wanted to be this public speaker, and I still speak, and I know when I do get on the stage and I really pour, I'm going to be exhausted for like 2 days after.
Right, definitely.
What's my capacity? Am I even prepared to be down for 2 days? How often can I do this type of work? And then I still need to do all the other pieces of the work that go into not being on stage. So just like you're talking now on the show, but typing up the cards, getting this great crew together, doing your makeup before, filling out and packing your bag. Like, it's so many other pieces that go into coming to this moment.
Right.
I think a lot of people they may miss that sometimes.
I also think that when we are giving advice, last night we met a young mom. She was first time mom, pregnant in her 8th month, and immediately we said stuff like sleep while that baby's sleeping, right? That was the immediate thing to say to her. The next thing I said to her is, but also remember, this is your experience, right? And so sometimes even in us giving advice, we have to be mindful that their journey is not ours, right? And so yes, prepare, yes, do all of these things, but there's also this space of the experience is going to be yours, right?
Yeah.
And it may not turn up. They may walk into that thing and because of whatever following their YouTube take off in 15 days. I don't know what the hell are they doing on there, right? They're eating crab legs and shrimp or something, and all the kids can. They got all this, I don't know, Gucci shirt with some glasses in there. They really popping, and and then they take off,
Yeah.
and then they come back and they look at you, although you were giving great advice from your experience. They're like, but look what I did. Does it negate yours?
Right.
Does it
Right.
negate what you gave? So we just also have to remind people that, again, this is your choice, right? I think sometimes we end up giving advice and expecting them to take ours and do it because we say so.
Yeah.
Right? The realities are, every entrepreneur, no matter who you sit with, you can sit with all four of us and we could tell you our stories and they're going to all be different. Right? The advice we take and we spit out, it is all going to be so different. If we were going to give advice, my advice would be pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
and again, and then wait and listen.
Yeah.
Right? And that doesn't necessarily mean listening to us. I'm very big about us realizing our capacity of when we offer things to people. Because sometimes we can be a deterrent unintentionally. Right? Because then we just start tearing our story. It took, 3 years, I ain't make no money. And then that baby saying, wait,
I can't do
what?
that. Right.
Yeah.
Right?
Feel
Or
the
we're
mouth.
saying it to a
Right.
person who was about to go postal on their job. And we're saying, well, you need to prepare and make sure you got all of this stuff. And we
they're at
didn't know
their
their
breaking
mental
point.
capacity,
Yeah.
right?
That
That they
part.
didn't have but 30 minutes. They just needed somebody to say, just try.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so
Right.
we just have to be mindful and careful of when we offer hindrance.
Yeah.
And we're not hindering. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And going into hindrance, did you want to say something, Janna?
Well, there's this analogy that I like to live by, house plants. I like to think about house plants and how we can have a house full of plants and it'd be foolish for us to think that what works for one plant will work for the other plant.
That's children.
It's like, this plant may need more water. This plant may need more sunlight. This plant may need, to be in the shade more. And we can't just assume that because they're all plants that they all need the
Yeah.
same thing.
Same thing with
And
entrepreneurship.
so, kind of to your point, it's like, well, what do I need to thrive?
Yeah.
That part.
What do I need to be successful in my business and to make full-time entrepreneurship work for me if this
That's
is what I want to
right.
do?
That part.
Maybe I need to, so I can't just compare and say, oh, well, she's a full-time entrepreneur, so I'm going to just do what she does.
Right.
Or it took her this long, so it's going to take me that long. Like, no, we're all plants. We all have our own unique thing, and we have to test and see, like, what do I need
Yeah.
to be able
That
to
part.
thrive?
That
That's
part.
like the kids
And
in the house of mine.
environment matters. Okay.
Yeah, even
like
for the
that's
plant.
that's another
Yeah.
part of it. And I say this as well often. Your answered prayer can change. So some people take the leap and they do this thing, and then you get out there and yes, Lord, He answered my prayer, and this actually ain't what you want anymore. It's okay.
And it's okay. It's okay
to pivot. You need to know when to pivot. When is it best to pivot? Some people, you probably watching right now, you holding on to that business because you told the people and you invested the time and it's just actually not it anymore. It's okay to say, this ain't it anymore.
No shame.
Yeah, that
No
all.
shame.
And
Yeah.
it's
That's
okay
the part.
to
That's the
and it's
word.
okay to switch courses as well.
Yes.
Yes.
You
I
know?
think, again, making sure we say that shame part out loud. Right? Because when we do these pivots and these things that we know we're pivoting for us, the reality is we present it to the world. Right?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurs, we have no choice. Your business grows because you present it to the world big, right? Because I need you to buy into me. Because clearly businesses, they buying into us. Buying into me. So now I challenge us to be as bold in our pivot, right?
Right.
Of like, this is just where I'm going next. Right?
That's it.
This is
Yes.
where I'm going next. If you're still available for services, being able to say, this is where I'm going next, but you can still do A, B, C, D, E.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
like Janna, I also just took it's a part-time job, but it's in the line and in the alignment of what my business does. And so for me, because it's necessary.
Yeah.
Right? Because again, we're talking about running a business successfully. I don't want to wait till I get to bottom line zero to then say, Lord, I probably should have went and took a job.
Right.
Right?
Come on.
Being real about
Yeah.
what things look like, right? So I applaud you and congratulate you.
Yes.
you.
Yes.
Do
Thank
you
you.
find it difficult to find funding for entrepreneurial work for you or any of us?
I think it depends
Yes.
on the lane you're
I'm
in.
gonna just say yes.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
say yes, but I also say yes depending on the lane you're in.
Yeah.
Right? Because if you are in this business, I have a girlfriend who runs Nations Foundation. And the work that they do there's just a bunch of money for what they do.
Yeah.
They have an amazing grant writer. It's a nonprofit and it's been thriving. It's amazing. Right? And then what I do and what I offer, it's not really, let's go get a grant for that. Right? So I provide coaching. And I also am a motivational speaker. So I'm waiting for the people to say they want to book me. That's kind of the thing. So now I'm marketing myself. So I'm spending money on marketing or investing in that space. So I'm more so spending money before I even make it because I need you to see that I'm good at this.
Yeah.
Right? Because the only people that buy into what I do have to believe that I know what I'm doing, and they only know that from me showing them that I can do this.
Do you feel like being a black woman that it's hard to be in this entrepreneurship world? How to navigate?
No, I don't.
So.
I'm not gonna say I don't think being a black woman is the hindrance. I screamed yes earlier about the investment, just because you're not really finding a lot of people who are just saying, or grants or what have you, they're just saying, what do you need? And I don't mean in business, like, what do you need financially? What does your home situation look like? Are you supporting children? Are you supporting a family? It's just not a lot of people pouring in those spaces. Like, I want to help people in those in-between moments. It's not people giving gas cards, you know what I mean? Like, we are driving around. Like, there are some real in-between pieces of the journey that aren't funded. And I just feel like people need to be more supported holistically. Like, if I really could have a full dream come true, I would love to give people like 10 bands just to go try their new thing, because we invest so much and hope that it works. That's why some people are holding on to it and just trying to make it, because they've already invested and they've lost time, and instead of just saying that didn't work.
Yeah.
But I feel like the pandemic, it created a whole bunch of entrepreneurs.
It created a whole bunch of people with hobbies.
Yeah, that's
What
the
is what it
truth.
did.
That's the truth. I mean, we had time. We
had time.
We unpacked this
So a lot
and
of
we
people
did
want to go
that.
back to work because they became entrepreneurs.
But we keep I think we throw
use
around
it at work.
entrepreneur.
Okay, let's go ahead.
So
Talk about it.
no, we use it so lightly, and the
Yeah.
reality is people had time, so I could mix up these body butters, and everybody got body butter, oil, and shea moisturizer, right? Because it was stuff at home, it was products at home I could use. And then when you realize that entrepreneurship, you literally are saying, I want to work. But to become an entrepreneur, we may have left a job. We never said we would stop working.
Right.
And I think people have missed that entrepreneurship requires work. Or is this just your hobby? You enjoy doing this thing for an hour or so, and then I'm going to go do something else. They're different.
Yeah.
And we've given people this title and allowed them to use this so they can say they're a boss. And they boss nothing but the stuff out of the cabinet. The reality is entrepreneurship is work, and it's required for you to grow and progress in this space.
It's two things I want to say. When I worked for the IRS, that was my government job. A hobby is defined by anything where you make less than $5,000. That's a hobby. Some of you have made $4,999 and you're like, I'm ready for it. It's still considered a hobby.
Wow.
And the other thing is, everything that you do well, you don't need to get paid for. There are a lot of people who, and as black women, I mean, we just successful in so many things. We doing hair, we making the candles in the back, we telling comedy on stage. This is literally my journey. Like, I do a lot of things well, and I had to try a lot of things before I found the common denominator, which was speaking, and then I recognized that's what I wanted to do across the board. So continue to try new things. It's okay if it's a hobby. That may lead to the craft that you actually want to hone and do full time. So we got to just be okay.
And that was the question. That was the question. What opportunities is worth pursuing?
Everything you want to do, I encourage you to do it, just because it may inspire your business in another way. And the story that I tell often is Steve Jobs. He got kicked out of a class or something. He made an F or whatever and decided to go take a calligraphy class. And by taking the calligraphy class and understanding the dynamics of writing and scripting through handwriting, he was able to convert it to a computer system. And that's why we have all these great fonts in Microsoft and all. And I think, was he working with Microsoft? However it happened, that's why we have these fonts. But it's across all platforms now, because he failed at something and continued doing the work in another space and learning another craft. Like, you just never know how what you will learn will transcend into other things. Before I became this public speaker, I did candles, I did stand-up comedy, I did all the things. I was also a mother whose teenager didn't want to listen. So I needed, after you pour into your child and they not here, they don't want you no more, you got to go, well, who am I? And you go to find that thing, and that led to speaking. And now I do like care boxes for business owners who have candles in them and pens and journals and all the things that I enjoyed previously. They make an impact now.
Cora, I was watching your YouTube on your website, and you was making a diaper wheel.
Yes,
Listen,
crafts
wait.
with Cara.
She was making a diaper cake.
Yes.
She was demonstrating how to do it.
Yes.
And I enjoy watching you.
Thank you.
Just as the content creator.
Yeah.
I never knew I wanted to make a diaper wheel before.
I
never knew that I wanted
crafts.
to make a cake out of diaper, but you was just so electrifying on
Thank
television
you.
that I just sit there at my computer and just laugh. I was like, "It's so funny." I was like,
appreciate
I know how to make a diaper wheel now.
But that goes back to like the crafts gave me such a fulfillment at one point. I thought I needed to do the crafts where it's really the speaking and the education through the crafts that I can help people with. So I really just want to educate people now.
Yeah, and you're great on television
Thank you.
too.
I
You're funny.
appreciate you.
And I think there's a difference. We have to make the distinction, especially as Black women, because we want to do it all. We can do it all.
We can,
And we
yep.
feel like, we have to do it all. But there's
Right.
a difference between work, play, and rest.
Yes.
And kind of to the point about hobbies, like we need hobbies. We
Yes.
can't like say, oh, I can do this, so let me monetize it. Because now you're going to be burned out. And we have
don't
so
even
many
like
Black
it.
women
Yes.
who are just exhausted and burned out from running businesses, from trying to grow their business and trying to set new
That
businesses up. And it's
part.
like, it's because we aren't trying to just have a hobby and just,
Yes.
we either
Enjoy
want to
it.
create content from it, and now we, setting up cameras and like, and it's just like we've turned everything into a job, and then we wonder why we are
Burn
burned
out.
out.
Yeah.
I always wonder, I hate to say cringe, but I'm concerned when I see new mothers with their brand new baby lines, but specifically celebrities. Because what are you going to do when that baby is 6? Not even 6, 2. Because the baby and the newborn line and the new formula that you came out with, they not going to need that. So are you willing to stay in that season for years
gonna
and
grow with the
create
child?
wealth?
Right.
For somebody else.
Right.
Right.
When your child is not even
When that
wearing these
school call
newborn.
you.
Right.
When that school calling you about that kid, and you got to show up there, and you still trying to
You
fix
over
that
here trying to
formula
do
in the back.
formula. You got a whole bottle line.
Yeah, it's definitely about knowing
Yeah.
the difference in hobby, and it's nothing against a hobby. A hobby is a release. Entrepreneurship is work. It can be rewarding and it can be an amazing space. However, if you are doing it with an expectation for release every time, you're gonna be frustrated.
Or to make money.
Right.
Some people are doing these things to make money, and it's not a money-making situation all the time.
There's a book that I read early in my entrepreneurship journey, the EMyth Revisited, and it talks about how every business needs 3 people to operate: the practitioner, the manager, and the entrepreneur. And a lot of people are practitioners and think they're equipped to run a business. And so the example
on.
they use is someone likes to bake pies. So they're like, oh, I can bake pies. I'm really good at this. Let me start a pie business. But it's like, well, actually, you starting this pie business, now you need to worry about having your kitchen up to standard.
Yep.
You have to worry about paying for supplies and,
right.
profit and loss. You have to worry about marketing, making sure the customers coming in. So that's the managerial aspect of running a business. The practitioner part is making the pies. Then you have the entrepreneur part of it that's like, okay, how can I grow my business? What's next? What's the future of my pie company? And the person who can like be free to think, freely about how can I grow? What's the market looking like, and how can I expand this and make this even more beautiful and powerful? And a lot of businesses have one person can be all 3 of those.
Yes.
But people to go into entrepreneurship and they have a hobby and they want to monetize it, they, I can make body butter, so now I'm gonna have a body butter making business. Well, that's going to be only a small part of running your business is making that body butter.
That's the part.
Are you equipped to do your, the taxes part of it? Are you equipped to, finding supplies and packaging and labeling and all that? Like, there's
Willing
so
to
many.
learn about those
Right,
pieces.
exactly. And so it's like, save yourself a lot of trouble. You don't have to monetize everything.
You can just enjoy.
Just enjoy it. Give it to your, make stuff and give it to your friends and family.
But I like the word you said when you talked about the entrepreneurship person is the person that's free to do. Right, like free to even think about these things. Because I can't freely think about nothing, and I'm thinking about taxes that's due on the 15th. I can't freely figure out how to get us to the next level, and then look at and wonder, do that label get wet if it's gonna rub off? I can't even think about that because it doesn't work well. It can happen, and a lot of us are doing the 3 part in one person. Is it sustainable? And the answer is no.
Well, this is why I also leaned more towards my intellectual property and just speaking, because I found myself, I I just should be CEO of Michael's. I was buying the whole craft store. I was buying, the candle jars, the labels, the wax, and then I went to Amazon. Okay, I saved a little coin, but I didn't have enough product to sustain to get the wholesale price to make and then I was like, do I want to slave over a stove, or even buy the industrial candle wax melter to do? I didn't want to invest. I just like making candles for a little bit.
And they're good, y'all. I
just like making candles. So did it need to scale? Whereas when I decided to invest in my intellectual property and used my skill set, that's another thing. When you leave your job, that doesn't mean you have to hate it.
Right.
The Internal Revenue created this Cara that you see. I was able to hone my public speaking class by traveling the country there first, teaching their class. So I was able to create my class my way, and now I have my own public speaking class. But I knew that I didn't have to worry about a label. I knew who I was. Mm-hmm. I knew what was inside of me. I knew what my skill set was. I knew what my strengths were. All my report cards said talkative since kindergarten. So I've had 40 plus years of experience. Yes, where are my strengths, period? Like the core strengths, so yeah.
And we'll be right back after this commercial break. Yeah, so you guys has been awesome giving us some good information. Let's get a little bit technical. When someone is running a business, how often do they cut down their prices? When they're running their business, everybody wants a discount. Family, friends, they all want discounts. Otherwise they are go pay somebody else full price.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
The first thing is realize that you did not create your business for your family.
Yeah.
If you did, you are already out of business. You probably ain't got but 50 people in your family. If you got a huge family, I would give you 100, right? If you created for only 100 people, and this is going to be something that's life sustainable, you out of business. I think the reminder, first of all, for family is they not my client.
Yeah.
I actually don't service my family. I appreciate them for resharing. That's my requirement. My ask, usually not even a requirement, but my ask is just repost the same.
Yeah.
Right? I don't even look at them to be clients.
Yeah.
And I think that's not even friends.
I noticed a lot of young entrepreneurs, they get really upset at the fact they feel like they don't have the support of their friends and family because they're not purchasing their items or...
Because they don't have to.
Right.
No, they don't have to.
Yeah.
Some of my friends don't even know, couldn't even tell you what I do, what my title is. They don't know.
That part, yeah.
Right.
And I like it that way because it's good to have that separation because you want to be able to turn it off. And you don't want to, when you come around family, they're like, "Oh, girl, did you do my marketing thing for me? When you gonna look at this stuff?" And it's like, no, let me be me. Let me be Janna. I don't want to have to be the marketer when I'm around you. So I don't even look for I'll do it for free. I'm like, look, I'll just help you with some social media posts.
Right.
I'm not even gonna charge you. I'll just help you with it. But I'm not about to get into that whole. It gets messy.
Yeah, because these young folks, they get really touchy-feely.
They also live online.
That's true.
I don't think they have as many core outside relationships. You have to build that skill set. It just goes back to networking. It's more than just a post to my story. I shared it to my story. Well, girl, everybody they're not following you, first of all.
That's true.
Your clients are out there in the world. So for me, I had to get comfortable asking for money. I feel like just my price is my price. And because everyone wants a discount, I established a certain discount threshold. So if you're a nonprofit, I have a certain discount for you if you've worked for me before or worked with me before.
So it's good to kind of prepare for those type of things.
Yeah.
If they ask.
So
right. You're not kind of caught off guard.
Right. If you've worked with me before, then I consider you a community partner. So then I have community partner discounts. So it's all a relationship I'm trying to build for the long haul. Everyone doesn't get a discount, but if we work together before I have you. So, there are ways to get around it and still be firm with your price is your price.
Right.
And I also think, being mindful of friend groups, right? So I have business friends that we're going to talk business. We may intertwine, we may do things, we may hang. Like that is we have business friendships, which means I don't mind when you come and say, girl, did you do that marketing thing? Because it's understood that's a conversation, right? And then I have my friends who have no idea that I probably am not going to get paid for 2 weeks like them, right? So if they want to book the trip this week or on the 15th, because that works for everybody else, I may be paying for mine on the 28th, because that's when the invoice going to be paid. You know what I mean? So I think also when you think about not just about support, but about mental and financial support, about places and people, consider there's a separation that has to be. So when I talk to Cara about, girl, I don't know who paid this bill this week. She said, Jesus paid mine with a credit card. We can have that conversation, and it works and it flows well because that's an understanding, right, of where we are in entrepreneurship. Versus, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Where's your mic? Because I feel like they having a side conversation. It's just gonna come on back up.
Oh.
I want to make sure we're not missing the audio.
Oh, it's his. I'm here.
All right.
It's over it.
I saw the concern. Go ahead.
Thank you for
Yes.
That's all right. Pick back up. We got
But
it.
yeah, so really just making sure that you know where it's safe to talk about business, right? So sometimes you don't have to worry about the discounts at the family meeting being asked because I ain't talking about my business at the family meeting.
Exactly.
Right? Then somebody inquires, have conversation, create dialogue, but your next thing should be, what can I do for you?
Right.
But
But I can honestly say that it can be a little emotional when you feel like, you want the people that you love the most to support what you're doing, and then there's like radio silence in the business.
Support looks different.
I was going to say, I think sometimes we have unrealistic expectations of people.
Yeah.
Right? Because where in me being your partner, or me being your husband or your kid, equates to me enjoying to be around your work.
Yeah.
It
may just not be their ministry. I'm
be okay, I think, with that.
Yeah, I'm okay with you saying my name in a room and I had no idea. Like, support just looks different for I think a lot of people. If you can share, that'd be great. Some people just not even on social media though. So then what? You know, so just as long as they know their lane and you know them, you have to be understanding enough, I believe.
I think it's about managing our expectations, and we go into business because it's something that we want to do.
That's right.
There's a need that we see in the market that we want to fulfill, and just because I have started this business, no one else is entitled to give me money for it, to share anything. Like, I don't look to any of my family or friends to do any of that stuff. If they do, it's nice, but you're not my target audience.
Right.
And so, if you're not my target audience, then I'm not expecting you to engage with my business the way that a customer would. And so I think we have to manage our expectations and think, okay, what are other forms of support that would make me feel like I'm being supported? Can you listen to me when I'm having a hard day and I'm talking about how stressful entrepreneurship is? Can we go out to happy hour and celebrate the fact that I made my first sale? Like, that's the kind of stuff that for me is like, that's where I lean on my family and friends for support. Let's celebrate. Let's go out. If I'm wrapped up with a client and it's been a tough time, like, let's go out and let's celebrate. I think we have to really be realistic in the type of support we expect from our family and friends, and it can't always look like the support you would get from a customer.
Openly communicate with them, right? So if you are a person who just need them to show up, right? Because some people just need that space of, I just need you to be around because it makes me feel, then be able to have that dialogue with them. So I'll give an example. I have 4 children. They range in ages, right? And so when I was going off to do the things that I wanted to do, I sat with them, and 2 of my sons said, so, do you expect for me to show up to stuff? And I was like, it'll be nice. And he said, well, can you just tell me beforehand so it ain't nothing? Again, I have to also, as much as I want them to support me, I have to respect them, right? Because I want them to show up and probably smile. So they probably going to want to be in a good mood, right? So if they need a week to get that smile together, then that's what I'm willing to offer.
Yeah,
right.
Whereas y'all can see my daughter, she going to show up whatever. What you need me to do? All right. For any other people, what y'all need me to do? That's her heart, right? So I understand that she's just going to show up different. Probably when she get friends, by the time she's 16, she probably want to go nowhere with me. But right now, I'm grateful for her showing up, right?
Yeah.
My oldest son, he's just fired, so he's unable to support me. He always checks. And you going to a million events. Well, what you got on? And that's his support for me. That don't match, Mom.
Right.
That's his support for me.
Yeah.
So you just have to, again,
identify.
no, but have communication. And it can't be when you're angry because they didn't.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because they're people too. And then your anger not going to make them want to show up more.
Right.
Right? So if you realize, and it's, entrepreneurship is different. So if it's a new space and you're like, maybe I didn't even know I wanted them around. Oh, wow, it would have been nice to have you there. Make that the conversation, not why you ain't come.
Right.
It's
Or I'm
not
having
how
an
you
event
say
next
it.
week. It would
It'd
mean
be
a lot to
nice.
me if you were
Right.
there.
It's
I'm
okay.
releasing this
Just-
episode. It would be nice if you could share. Here's the link. It would be nice if you could put it on your Facebook. You know, like
Right.
be really
Communicate.
explicit and
Yeah.
intentional on how
That's
you
the word.
want
Yeah.
someone to show up for you. Because we
Yeah.
can't make assumptions and be like, oh, because you didn't do it, that must mean you don't care, you don't support.
probably
It's
didn't
That
even know.
like, no,
part.
you didn't even tell me what you wanted me to do.
That part.
I didn't know you were selling cookies
That
this
part.
week.
I know.
I feel like you women are so bold.
Thank
Okay,
you, friend.
I feel like you women are so bold and so strong. Are there certain characteristics that you need to have to be an entrepreneur to be able to carry out your journey? Because, like you say, entrepreneurship is not easy. Do you feel like there's a certain type of
Yeah.
energy that you need to, to put out there?
In Coach Nikki's word, bounce backness. Because I have
these words.
because I have what I like to call rolling depression. Like, people go through bouts of depression, right, where they may be down for months, or that they come up out their coma, and I allow that. But like my rolling depression, it normally comes on about 8-9 o'clock, when I probably should be going to bed, but I need to be thinking about some other stuff, and then I start feeling defeated. Did I even do enough? And I say rolling because they're fleeting thoughts. They're not long, but it's a moment, and I try to allow myself to feel and have that space. But I need to also come back up out of it, and it may take a little while. So it just depends. But I feel like you have to have the ability to go with and roll with the punches, and remember your why, and not just, oh, I'm doing it for my kids, but no, why do I want to live this life every day for me in my way? Why does this make sense for me?
Right,
So, yeah.
right. Janna?
I think, so are we talking about for ourselves or just for
Just
any
in general,
entrepreneur?
for entrepreneurship.
Yeah, I think an entrepreneur has to kind of have you have to be sure. And you may not know all the answers all the time, but you have to be sure that this is what you want to do. I think any person can, all personality types, introvert, extrovert, whatever, anyone can be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
But you have to wake up every day and know for a fact that this is what you are choosing to do. This is why you are choosing to do it. This is what you want to do. I think when we start wavering and we're like, oh, well, we one foot in, one foot out, we're not giving it our all. We're not really showing up our best. And so I think that, no matter who you are, if you are going to do your business, run your business. Be sure about your business.
Yes.
Don't waver, because you can't give half of yourself. You can't be half, sure about it, half like, oh, I don't know if it's really going to work, but I'm going to see. You got to be sure.
Yeah. Move intentionally is
Yeah.
what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Move intentionally.
Yeah.
And I'm going to add on, have the ability to self-assess as well, because I think, especially as an entrepreneur, when seasons come like grief, we want to act like, oh, I should be able to still come up out of this, instead of acknowledging you can tap into those emotions too. And I only express emotions a lot in the entrepreneurship space, because when I worked for the government, I wasn't allowed to. You can't feel that. We got to get this done.
bottom line.
So I'm very intentional about tapping into how I feel, whether it's depression, whether it's moving intentional. How do I feel in this space? Am I able and capable of moving forward? Do I need a moment to scale back today? Not forever, but today. Is my why still feel the same? And ability to still move forward. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me, it is kind of all of those things, right? You definitely need all of the stuff they said. You need to know you. Like, you have to be able to see you, because you're going to walk in rooms and they're not going to care.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? You're going to go into spaces, you're going to meet clients that you think are clients and they don't care nothing about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to know you without a shadow of a doubt.
Yes.
Be willing to self-assess. Am I the same person I was 30 days ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
We get focused on years and stuff. I'm talking about every 30 days, this gonna look, you gonna look and feel different.
Yes.
Are you okay with her? Right? And so, not just sure of the journey, but sure of yourself. And if you do not trust you, if you do not believe in you, if you don't understand you, then this is not your season. Though, if you're saying this is what I wanted, your work right now needs to be, who am I?
Yeah.
Right? Who am I in journey? Who am I in next steps? Who am I in next spaces? You gotta know you.
Yeah.
Because you will lose her here.
Yep.
Right? You'll start looking at me like, oh, that's nice. She fit that well. Dang, I should have wore pink.
Right.
Dang, her pink fit her like that. Why her jacket button? Mine ain't never button.
Right.
And now I'm not enough.
Yep.
Yeah.
When I was so short of journey, but I
Yes.
had no idea of who I was. You have to know. You have to spend time with her or him, right? I'm not taking away that men can be entrepreneurs, but we all women here, right? But you gotta be sure, right?
Yes.
You gotta be able to look in the mirror, be proud, be excited, be aware of you.
Yes.
It is mandatory.
Yes.
Right? It ain't nothing we can shake, waver. We can't cook. It ain't cookie cutter. It is all about therapy.
Yeah.
Affirming yourself, affirmations daily, right? Because you're gonna walk into rooms with like-minded, because that's where your networking and growing comes. When you're in a room with people who are in the same lane, are you sure of you, right? And be able to stand 10 toes in me showing up with a cut up jeans and a blazer, because that's who I am, and
Right.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Although you may show up with bundles and a yellow dress and a heel, baby, and I'm like, well, hey, girl, can I see me
Right.
enough, even in your space?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to know you.
Yeah.
Definitely. I definitely believe that.
Yes.
You want to say something, Janna?
To that point, I just keep hearing my therapist always tells me, I am the source of my worthiness and peace. And especially when we are entrepreneurs, we a lot of us need, I know I have for so long, we need the external validation. We need the affirmation. We need the likes and the comments to know that we're on the right track. But can we move forward even without any of that?
Even without it.
That
Even
part.
if nobody likes what we're doing, even if
Yes.
nobody shares it, even if nobody gives us a dime, are we sure enough to be able to say, I am enough because this is what I want to do and because I have the magic and I can make this happen for myself. If
That
no one
part.
else validates me, am I still
And I feel like
willing
that's
to
where
go?
success, where you measure success, that's where that comes in
Yeah.
at. Because what someone else sees that they say that should be success, that may not be success for you.
That
Success for
part.
me is I have this room.
Yeah.
I have this
Yes.
space. It's my
Yes.
own.
Yes.
You know, it's my own show. Maybe I'm not on national television yet, but I'm going there.
That part.
And this is success for me. So
Yes.
sometimes you can't let other people define your
Yes.
success.
Yes.
And be okay with
Yeah,
it.
and then realize that big vision took steps.
Yes.
So celebrate your steps. So that happy hour, that's that moment. Make sure you celebrate every moment of
That
this.
part.
I love
that
that.
part.
Yeah.
Every moment of
Yes.
this, right? I think we forget that there are hurdles to get over there. I need you to celebrate that you got over this one hurdle. It's a moment. I'm not telling it requires you to go to Barbados every time.
Right.
Right? But if we can go to Barcelona for a match. Right? And again, and we're just saying, and make sure you couldn't, again, that business group of friends matters.
Yeah.
Because they're going to understand the journey.
Yeah.
Right.
Right? So they won't have to have
Yes.
this unrealistic expectations of the family. Because my friend, hey, Cara, I just actually got 2 clients and they prepaid.
Come on.
We on the way
boy.
outside.
Where we going?
That's it. That's
Right.
it. I
love
love
that.
it.
That's the space,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Right,
and
right.
celebrating people. Like I became the career cheerleader because I didn't need.
And I love that.
Thank you. But I became that because at the time I was working for the government and I didn't need someone to help me get the job. I got a job. I don't need a coach. I'm very much affirmed in who I am, what I want to be, where I want to go. But someone to continually champion you when you're even not doing something for them, just saying they love your work, love your energy. It was important when people did that for me, so I made it a point to do that for other people. And sometimes they hear cheerleader and think you just cheer for everybody. I don't.
No.
I don't.
And
I cheer
I
for people
love
I
it.
rock with. If I like it, if it speaks to me, if it's my tribe, I cheer for you. And because who will? Sometimes there's a lot of people out here not getting cheered for, and they're successful anyway. Some of my main clients are people who they do a lot of pop-up shops, small businesses. And one of the main things I hear is, no one came to my table, no one bought anything, and I try to let them know your next client is the entrepreneur next to you
That's the best
who had to
place.
set up at the same time as you, who also had
understand the
nobody
work.
come to the table. They understood the journey, they understood the work, and they need your product. So talk to them, network with him. Any event, any experience is never a loss on this journey if you choose to see it that way. So yeah.
That's good.
Amazing, amazing. You guys have been wonderful. You have definitely been encouraging to someone. And I do want you guys to take out the opportunity to look into your camera, to say some encouraging words to an upcoming entrepreneur, and to also to tell what businesses that you have and the services that you provide, along with your information of how they can contact you to hire you if they ever needed some of your services. We'll start with you, Janna.
Well, as my necklace says, more than enough. Every entrepreneur needs to remember that you are more than enough. Whatever you are setting out to do, whatever tools you need, you already have it on the inside of you, so you can seek out some help, a tribe, a community, professionals to help bring it out of you. But remember that as you're going through the ebbs and flows of your entrepreneurial journey, that you are already enough. You are already more than enough, exactly who you are. You don't need to change yourself. You don't need to try to be anyone else. Follow your own path. And stay the course. Stay the course. Stay committed to your why. So that would be my advice to any entrepreneur. You already have everything you need on the inside of you. I do a lot of entrepreneurship coaching. I have a podcast, Forever Fun Employed, helping professionals get into the driver's seat of their professional career, whether it's through a 9-to-5 or starting your own business. And so you can reach out to me, leapinnovativegroup.com. Contact me if you want to work together, if you want to just get some career coaching, get some entrepreneurship advice and things like that. I live to serve new entrepreneurs who are really trying to get their footing. So I would love to work with you.
Awesome. Miss Cara.
Cara, yes. Your name is Cara Pressley. My message to any entrepreneur or anyone on their journey is that you can create the life you want. You can empower yourself. It's an inside job. I'm here to help you if you need the help. You can visit carapressley.com for more information. I do brainstorming sessions. I have a free 30-minute consultation if you just want to chat, because sometimes that's all you need, just a little motivation. But I have brainstorming sessions. I also help people with behind the scenes. I also help you curate interviews if you need to reintroduce yourself to the world and show people what you're really about. I also have that ebook, Before You Quit, Think About This. And anyone who wants to be on stages like we are, I also have a public speaking masterclass, Successfully Speaking. It's a 7-hour, one-day intensive so that you can go out there and create the life you want, right? So again, carapressley.com. You can follow me on Instagram, The Career Cheerleader, Facebook, The Career Cheerleader, and I also have a micro podcast. It's called The Successful Podcast. Episodes in 15 minutes or less, because sometimes we ain't got a whole hour to figure out what's going on. So tap in, and I'd love to work with you.
Great. Yeah. Coach Nikki.
I am Coach Nikki, motivational influencer and the owner of the CWN brand. So I am by trade a certified life and business coach. But my biggest thing is to empower others. I am focused right now on parents. So I run the Transparency Parent Circle support group. And through that, we host events like you are seeing, where we recognize working parents, moms and fathers. I'm just giving them a space to be great and be seen. If I had to give advice to an entrepreneur, it would be to get the spirit of bounce back in this. You're not going to find it in Webster because I made it up. And so what that consists of is a choice. You get to choose to get up again, no matter what it is, no matter what the naysayer says, even if the naysayer is you. Sometimes we try to look outward for people beating us down, and sometimes we're our own biggest critic. But even from that, you have the option to bounce back, and you can. And so you can find me on social media platforms at Coach Nikki _CWN and at thecwnbrand.com. I also host and facilitate a program called MOE, which is Me Over Everything, which is a conflict resolution program for teens. My heart beats to help parents and teens. That is the thorn that's in my side. And usually when God gives us a thorn, there's something he's giving you greater to cover it, which means that for somebody else is enduring those spaces. And then if you have any conference that you need a speaker, I am there because I'm the room shifter. Because I bring me and God, and together we can make things happen.
All right. That gave me chills.
Amazing. Yes, that did give me chills. Well, guys, I know that this has been an amazing show. I've gotten some great information, and I hope that you have gotten some great information as well. Now, make sure you go ahead and like this video right down there, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell to be notified every time there's a new show available. Okay, guys, and I enjoyed talking to you, and I can't wait till we go out and hang out.
Yes.
I'm going to make that happen.
Yes.
Miss Janna, I'm so happy to see you.
She going out too. I don't know.
Yeah, she coming too.
She going out too.
Look, she got married. She's
all right.
She's married now. I was married now. I go to bed at 9 o'clock.
It's all right. We're going out at 7. It's happy hour.
We are going right after. Yes.
But I really enjoyed you ladies
Yes.
today. You are very powerful women, beautiful
Thank you for the
women.
invitation.
And I thank you for taking your time to sit down and have this discussion with me. And guys, as you go on your journey, remember, never let them see you sweat.
Mm-hmm.
EMyth